I was putting the final touches on Ethan's birthday decorations when my phone buzzed with a text from my sister Madison. She was running late as usual but promised to bring extra ice cream. I sighed, remembering how last Christmas she thought it would be hilarious to replace Ethan's gift with an empty box. My son had only recently started to regain his confidence after months of bullying at school, and I had explicitly warned Madison 3 times not to pull any stunts today. The custom Star Wars cake had cost me $200, and everything needed to be perfect for my little man turning 12. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach as I pictured Madison approaching that cake. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button if you have ever had to deal with a family member who just does not respect boundaries. Life as a 34-year-old single dad has its challenges, but raising Ethan has been my greatest joy since my divorce 3 years ago. My marketing job allows me to work from home, giving me precious time to be there when Ethan returns from school. He has always been a bright, sensitive boy with a passion for science fiction and drawing. His bedroom walls are covered with detailed sketches of spaceships and alien worlds creations from his vivid imagination. The past few months had been tough on him. A group of kids led by a boy named Jake had targeted Ethan at school, mocking his glasses and calling him names when he answered questions in class. His teacher had intervened, but the damage to his self-confidence was evident. He spoke less at dinner and spent more time alone in his room. As his birthday approached, I was determined to give him a celebration that would remind him how special and loved he was. My sister Madison, 29 and perpetually stuck in college frat party mode, had always positioned herself as the fun aunt. Her idea of fun, however, often crossed the line. She documented everything for her social media accounts, seeking validation through likes and comments at the expense of others. Last Thanksgiving, she had squirted whipped cream all over Ethan's face while he was napping and posted the video online. When I confronted her, she dismissed my concerns with a casual, "It is just a joke, lighten up." Despite my reservations, I could not exclude Madison from the birthday party. She was Ethan's only aunt, and despite her immaturity, he cared about her. So I spent weeks planning the perfect celebration, saving from each paycheck to rent a gaming venue with laser tag and virtual reality games. The custom Star Wars cake was ordered from an upscale bakery featuring Ethan's favorite characters in detailed fondant work. I invited 15 kids from his class and 3 friends from his weekend art club, hoping the positive social interaction would boost his confidence. The morning of the party, Ethan bounced around the kitchen with excitement and nervousness. "Do you think Trevor will really come, Dad?" he asked, referring to one of the popular kids who had RSVP'd. I assured him everyone was looking forward to it while adjusting his new button-up shirt, the one he had carefully selected for today. "You look very handsome, buddy," I told him, straightening his glasses. "Today is going to be amazing." We arrived early to set up additional decorations. Madison showed up 20 minutes late with her boyfriend Derek, a tall guy with a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, who I had met twice before. Right away, she ruffled Ethan's hair roughly and said, "Well, look who is finally becoming a man today. Better watch out for birthday punches later, squirt." I noticed Ethan's smile falter as he instinctively stepped closer to me. While he greeted Derek, I pulled Madison aside. "Listen, I need today to be perfect for him," I said quietly. "No pranks, no embarrassing him, especially in front of his classmates. Some of these kids have been giving him a hard time at school." Madison rolled her eyes. "Relax, big brother. I know how to behave at a kid's party." The first hour went smoothly. The kids enjoyed laser tag with Ethan's team winning 2 rounds. I watched with pride as he high-fived his teammates, including Trevor. Over pizza lunch, I overheard him confidently explaining the rules of a card game he enjoyed to a group of interested classmates. This was exactly what I had hoped for. Then I noticed Madison sneaking up behind one of the smaller boys, clearly planning to startle him or pull some kind of prank. I intercepted her quickly, guiding her toward the drink table. "Madison, seriously," I hissed. "These are 11 and 12-year-olds. Some of them barely know you. Please do not mess around." "Fine, whatever," she replied, glancing at her phone. "You are so uptight these days." No wonder Lisa left. The low blow referencing my ex-wife stung, but I refused to engage. This was Ethan's day, and I was determined not to let anything ruin it. Derek, sensing tension, suggested they check out the arcade section, and I breathed a sigh of relief as they walked away. As cake time approached, my anxiety grew. I helped the venue staff bring out the elaborate cake with 12 candles perfectly placed around Yoda's head. The kids gathered around phones ready to capture the moment. Ethan sat at the head of the table, face glowing with happiness, as everyone sang happy birthday. I noticed Madison positioning herself strategically behind Ethan, her own phone in hand. Making my way around the table, I leaned in and whispered firmly, "Do not even think about pushing his face into that cake." "I mean it, Madison." She gave me an innocent look. "I would never," she whispered back, but the glint in her eyes told me otherwise. "I am serious," I emphasized. "That cake cost $200, and he has been looking forward to it for weeks. This is your third warning." As Ethan closed his eyes to make a wish, I thought I had gotten through to her. I was wrong. The moment seemed perfect. Ethan took a deep breath, ready to blow out his candles, when Madison suddenly grabbed the back of his head and forcefully slammed his face down into the cake. I heard the sickening crunch of his glasses breaking against his face, saw the cake shoot up his nostrils, causing him to choke and gasp for air. Madison was laughing hysterically, her phone capturing every second of his humiliation. "That is going viral for sure," she squealed, adjusting her angle to get his reaction. Ethan lifted his head, face covered in blue and white frosting. His glasses hung crooked from one ear, a lens cracked. Through the mess, I could see a red mark forming on his forehead where he had hit the cake board. But what broke my heart was the look in his eyes as they met mine, pure betrayal and humiliation. The room fell silent before uncertain laughter bubbled up from some of the children. Several pulled out their phones, eager to capture the moment. Jake, the main instigator of the bullying at school, smirked from across the table. "Got yourself a facial crybaby," he taunted quietly, just loud enough for those nearby to hear. Ethan tried to wipe his eyes, but the frosting only smeared worse. His breathing became labored, and I recognized the early signs of his asthma acting up from stress. Then, I noticed something else. The skin around his mouth was beginning to redden and swell slightly. One of the cake ingredients must have contained something he was mildly allergic to. "Dad," he choked out, voice barely audible as frosting went up his nose. I rushed to his side with napkins, trying to clean his face. "It is okay, buddy. Let us get you cleaned up." Madison was still filming, narrating for her social media audience. "Look at his face. Classic birthday initiation, people. Welcome to the teen years, Ethan." Ethan suddenly pushed away from the table and ran from the room, heading toward the restrooms. I grabbed a water bottle and followed, but not before hearing Madison say, "Lighten up, everybody, it is just cake." In the bathroom, I found Ethan desperately trying to clean his face at the sink tears mixing with frosting. His breathing was still concerning, coming in short gasps. "I need my inhaler," he whispered. I pulled it from my pocket, always prepared for emergencies, and helped him take a puff. As his breathing stabilized, the emotional dam broke. "Why does Aunt Madison hate me?" he asked, voice breaking. "She does not hate you," I said automatically, though at that moment I was not entirely convinced myself. "She just does not think about how her jokes affect others." Ethan looked at me, eyes red and swollen. "Jake said this is going on YouTube. He said I will be the cake-face loser forever now." He paused, shoulders slumping. "Dad, I cannot go back out there." I helped him clean his face and fixed his glasses as best I could with the emergency repair kit I kept in my wallet. As we worked, Ethan confessed his fears about returning to school on Monday, certain the video would be shared, and the bullying would intensify. When we finally returned to the party room 15 minutes later, I was shocked to find Madison showing the video to a group of parents and kids, laughing as she replayed the moment of impact. Some adults looked uncomfortable, but others were chuckling. Worse, I could see Jake and 2 other boys huddled with her, apparently getting her to send them the video directly. Ethan froze beside me, his hand gripping mine so tightly it hurt. I squeezed Ethan's shoulder gently. "Go pick a game in the arcade. I will handle this." After ensuring he headed toward the games, I approached Madison with measured steps, my hands shaking slightly as I controlled my anger. "Can I talk to you privately?" I asked, my voice level but tight. Madison looked up from her phone, still grinning. "1 sec, I am just sending this to Mom and Dad. They are going to die laughing." "Now, Madison." I gently but firmly took her elbow and guided her to a quiet corner near the emergency exit. I took a deep breath before speaking. Do you realize what you just did? I kept my voice calm for the benefit of the nearby children. You broke his $200 glasses. You caused an allergic reaction. He is having asthma symptoms from the stress. Madison crossed her arms defensively. It is tradition. Everyone gets caked on their birthday. It is not my fault he cannot take a joke. I specifically asked you 3 times not to do this. My voice remained steady, but I could feel heat rising in my face. This was not your call to make. You are making him soft, Mason. She rolled her eyes dramatically. Boys need to toughen up. No wonder those kids pick on him at school. I felt something snap inside me at her casual cruelty. Those kids pick on him because adults like you teach them it is okay to humiliate others for entertainment. Cannot take a joke, she retorted. No wonder Lisa left you. It was the second time she had thrown my divorce in my face today. Derek approached, sensing the escalating tension. Everything cool here, maybe we should all take a minute to chill. Stay out of this, both Madison and I said simultaneously. You have always been like this. I continued, memories flooding back. Remember my 5th grade play, when you tripped me on stage and the whole audience laughed? That was 25 years ago, Madison exclaimed. God, you always bring that up. Mom and Dad thought it was hilarious. Of course they did. You were always their favorite. You never faced consequences for anything. Madison's face flushed. You know what I am calling Mom right now. Let us see what she thinks about you ruining this party with your drama. As she pulled out her phone, I noticed Jake and his friends huddled together watching the video of Ethan and snickering. Madison had actually sent it to them. Something in me snapped completely. I walked over, took Madison's phone from her hand, and before she could protest, deleted the video. What are you doing? She shrieked. That is my property. You are no longer welcome at this party, I said, quietly but firmly. In fact, you are not welcome in Ethan's life until you can learn to respect his boundaries. Madison's eyes widened in shock. You cannot be serious. I have never been more serious. Please leave now. Derek tried to intervene, suggesting everyone calm down, but I remained firm. Either you both leave willingly, or I will ask the management to escort you out. Madison's face contorted with rage. This is ridiculous. I am your sister, and he is my son. My job is to protect him even from family when necessary. As they gathered their things, Madison's parting shot was loud enough for everyone to hear. Mom and Dad are going to hear about this. You have always been jealous of me. After they left, I noticed the party had come to an awkward standstill. Parents were whispering and the kids looked uncomfortable. My phone began buzzing almost immediately. Mom. I declined the call and turned to salvage what remained of the celebration. I asked the venue manager if they had any backup desserts. Fortunately, they kept cupcakes on hand for emergencies. While waiting for those to be prepared, I organized an impromptu gaming tournament with small prizes I had brought as party favors. Finding a quiet moment, I pulled Ethan aside. I am sorry about what happened with the cake. He looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. You sent Aunt Madison away. Yes, I replied simply. No one gets to treat you like that, not even family. A small, grateful smile appeared on his face. Thanks, Dad. Then I noticed something unexpected. Trevor and a couple other boys approached Ethan, asking him to join their team for the next game. One of them, a kid named Alex, said, "That was messed up what your aunt did. My cousin did that to me last year and I hated it." Somehow, the shared recognition of the cruelty had created an unexpected bond. Even more surprisingly, I overheard Ethan telling Jake off when the bully tried to make another cake joke. At least I have people who care enough to stand up for me, Ethan said with a confidence I had not heard in months. Does anyone ever stand up for you, Jake? The bully had no response, and for the remainder of the party he kept his distance. The weeks following the birthday fiasco were challenging but transformative. My parents called repeatedly, insisting I had overreacted and needed to apologize to Madison. I stood my ground, explaining calmly that I would not discuss reconciliation until Madison acknowledged the harm she had caused and apologized to Ethan. She was just having fun, my mother protested during one call. You know Madison has always been the life of the party. At whose expense, I asked quietly. Would you let someone treat me that way, or you? The question gave her pause, and I sensed the first crack in her automatic defense of my sister. Meanwhile, Ethan was experiencing unexpected positive changes at school. The Monday after his party, I braced myself for fallout, but instead he came home with news that Trevor had invited him to join their lunch table. Apparently, standing up to Jake had earned him respect from classmates who were tired of the bully's behavior. Alex said I was brave. Ethan told me, his eyes wide with surprise. For telling Jake off and for not crying when Aunt Madison smashed my face. 2 weeks after the party, I enrolled Ethan in a youth martial arts class he had expressed interest in. It was not about fighting, the instructor explained, but about confidence, discipline, and self-respect. Ethan took to it immediately, practicing stances in front of the mirror at home. One evening, as we sat completing his science homework, Ethan looked up thoughtfully. "Dad, is it possible to joke with someone without making them feel bad?" I put down my pen. Absolutely. Good humor brings people together. It makes both people feel good. When only one person is laughing and the other is hurting, that is not a joke. That is just being mean. He nodded slowly. I think Aunt Madison does not know the difference. You might be right, I agreed, impressed by his insight. And that is something she needs to learn. Meanwhile, Madison was not handling the rift well. She sent guilt-inducing text messages. Family should always forgive each other, and I cannot believe you are keeping me from my nephew over a cake. My parents became her messengers, calling to tell me she was really broken up about the situation. I remained firm. When she is ready to have a real conversation about respect and boundaries, I am here. Until then, I am protecting my son. 3 months after the birthday incident, my mother organized a family dinner and requested both Madison and I attend. No kids, just adults talking, she insisted. I agreed, curious if anything had changed. Walking into my parents' house that evening felt like entering a negotiation room. Madison sat stiffly at the table, eyes red as though she had been crying. Our parents hovered anxiously nearby. After an uncomfortable meal with forced small talk, Madison finally spoke directly to me. "I have been seeing a therapist," she said, surprising me completely. She suggested I might use humor as a defense mechanism, to avoid dealing with real emotions. I listened without interrupting as she continued. I never thought about how my jokes affected Ethan, or you, or anyone really. I just wanted the attention. She paused, taking a shaky breath. "I am sorry, Mason. Really sorry. What I did was cruel, and I want to make it right with Ethan, if you will let me." Her apology seemed genuine, though I remained cautious. "What would making it right look like to you?" I asked. "I want to apologize to him directly. No excuses. And I want to replace his glasses. And..." She hesitated. "I would like to spend time with him, doing things he actually enjoys. Not just what I think is fun." That conversation marked the beginning of a slow healing process. I allowed Madison to call Ethan the following weekend. Their conversation was brief but important, with Madison taking full responsibility and Ethan cautiously accepting her apology. Over the following months, our family dynamics shifted substantially. Madison began showing up on time for family events and asking permission before taking photos of Ethan. She took a genuine interest in his artwork, even framing one of his drawings for her apartment. Most importantly, she stopped filming everything for social media and became more present in our interactions. Ethan continued to flourish. His confidence grew steadily through martial arts, and he developed closer friendships with Trevor and Alex. When a new student joined their class mid-year, Ethan was the first to invite him to sit with their group at lunch. "I know what it feels like to be left out," he told me simply when I expressed my pride in his kindness. As Ethan's 13th birthday approached, he requested a small celebration with just his close friends, grandparents, and yes, Aunt Madison. The party was held in our backyard with a telescope viewing theme reflecting his newest interest in astronomy. Madison arrived with a thoughtful gift, a professional sketchbook, and drawing pencils. Throughout the evening, she remained respectful, asking before taking any photos and genuinely participating in the stargazing activities Ethan had planned. When cake time came, there was a moment of tension as everyone remembered the previous year. Madison caught my eye across the table and gave a small, reassuring nod. As Ethan blew out his candles, everyone applauded and the cake was cut and served normally, resulting in genuine laughter and conversation. Later that evening, after guests had left, Ethan surprised me with a hug. "This was the best birthday ever, Dad," he whispered. The journey had been difficult, but it taught us all valuable lessons. I learned that loving someone sometimes means setting firm boundaries. Madison learned that true connection comes from respect, not attention. And Ethan learned perhaps the most important lesson of all, that he deserves to be treated with dignity, and that standing up for yourself attracts the right kind of people into your life. Have you ever had to set difficult boundaries with family members who crossed the line? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more real-life lessons. Share this video with someone who might need encouragement to stand up for themselves or their children. Thank you for listening to my story. And remember, sometimes the most loving thing we can do is say no more.